Hello friends, welcome back to Three Barrow Farm. My name is Amy and I live in central Victoria, Australia, and it is the beginning of potato planting time. I have been clearing out some of my garden beds and I'm really excited to be planting some potatoes out. I'm going to start with planting out these Nicola potatoes. So we have purchased all indeterminate potatoes. So indeterminate potatoes all grow on their stem and keep producing potatoes as they go up. So you can mound the dirt around them, around the plant, and it'll keep producing potatoes. Determinate ones produce under the ground, so they won't grow up and keep producing as they grow higher. So these ones will all keep producing up the stem as the potato plant gets taller, and the determinate ones, they grow to a set height, so they will stop eventually. So it's the same as tomatoes. Tomatoes, you've got indeterminate and determinate. So again, the indeterminate will grow up a long vine. It'll keep making a vine, keep growing tomatoes along that vine, and the determinate will grow to a certain point. So they're sort of like the bush tomatoes, I guess. So like they grow to a certain point and they bush up, and that's all they do. I will put on the screen all the potatoes that we are going to plant this season. They are all pretty much roasters. We like to roast potatoes, so most of them are roasters. Our absolute favourite roasting potato are the Dutch Creams. So I do have some Dutch Creams here as well. All of my potatoes have come from the Diggers Club. I've never purchased any potatoes from anywhere else, but I'm interested in learning where else there are different heirloom potatoes. The Dutch Cream and the Nicola ones are pretty much similar to ones that you find, or are ones that you find in the shops. We've definitely got these at our local greengrocers, and we generally buy Desiree's and Dutch Cream when we're buying from the organic store. So I'm interested to compare these ones to the other ones I have as well. Hello. Hi. This is a table, just like inside, you don't climb on the table, okay? So it is like 9 degrees right now. It's quite glary, but it's supposed to get up to 18 today. And I'm just not seeing it yet. I'm just not seeing it. But anyhow, I'm gonna have some time in the garden planting out these. I've got a little spot where I've put some compost down. So I emptied one of our compost bins and I have put that all around the garden already. We are still waiting to get our delivery of manure. I think it will probably come in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to when it actually does come. And I will definitely be putting down some lime and dolomite to amend the calcium in the soil. But when we finally get the manure, I will go through all about how I do my no-dig garden beds and how I keep on top of the health of the soil. It's all about the soil, guys, so I will get to that in another video soon. So these potatoes are buttery and rich with a hint of sweetness. This German heirloom is the ultimate all-rounder and an excellent mid-season variety. So this one is the one that I have that will be ready in 90 to 110 days. All my other potatoes I have here are going to be ready in 100 to 130 days. So now is the time to plant these longer ones as well, because they're going to take longer to grow and winter is a good time, or August is a good time, and spring. So I'm going to plant these ones now because I'm hoping that I'll have some early potatoes. So if I plant these 90 to 110 day potatoes, they should be ready in mid-November to December. So I'm hoping we'll have some potatoes for Christmas Day like we did last year. And if I planted all the other potatoes now, they will be ready in December, January. But I am going to be planting them in September as well because I don't see myself having all the garden beds ready for all of these potatoes just yet. So yeah, I will have some in February as well. So let's get planting. I'm going to go and plant these ones in the area that I have set aside, and then hopefully I will get some time to prepare some more beds.
I cut my seed potatoes up so I get more for my money. As long as there are 1 or 2 eyes that are sprouting on the piece of potato, you will get a plant growing out of that piece of seed potato. Some of the seed potatoes I planted whole as they didn't have any other eyes sprouting from them. So it asks for these potatoes to be planted 10 centimetres deep and 40 centimetres apart. I'm planting mine a bit closer than 40 centimetres, but I usually get a good crop despite planting them around 30 centimetres apart. I go by the drippers we have on our dripper lines, and I plant all my vegetable plants as close to a dripper as I can while leaving room between the plants. As long as these potatoes are receiving enough water and I'm putting soil around the plant as it grows up, I should get a good harvest from these. I didn't sieve this compost as much as I usually like to, so there are clumps and pits and seeds and such, but it will continue to break down in the garden, especially when I add some manure on top. There were lots of worms in the compost when I decanted it, which is common in winter. As soon as summer comes along though, the compost bins get too hot for the worms, but the heat helps break everything down as well.
Okay, he's doing it with a knife, so watch your hands.
The old fennel plant was mostly sending up seed branches, so I decided to chop it out. I cut it out instead of digging it out so I don't disturb the weed seeds that will be below the soil. This area was once a paddock with many weed seeds, including cape weed, and this seed can live under the soil for several years.
Well, my friends, I have managed to plant out all the Nicola potatoes, and also I did the Dutch cream as well, and I'm feeling quite happy with the state of this vegetable patch. It's looking much neater. I've got some bronze fennel over here that I need to move because it's in the pathway, really. So I'm going to move a few of them and then perhaps move some of them into the front garden. So I'm going to see how I go with that. Their roots are probably quite deep, so yeah, fingers crossed that goes okay. I've taken all the netting off and the frost cloth off, but I'm going to pop it back over now. I'm just worried that these dogs are gonna, but I'm just a bit concerned that, yeah, the dogs are gonna destroy what I've done this morning. Anyhow, I'm really happy with what I've achieved here this morning. So yeah, I need to go inside right now and write up some labels to put where the Nicola potatoes are and the Dutch cream ones are, so I can make sure I know exactly where I've planted things, exactly what things are when I come to harvest them as well. But I also take photos with my phone, but I also have a notepad and I write down the date, what I've planted, what row it's in the garden, and what veggie patch it is in. So for this morning I will put down vegetable plot 2 and I will put row 3, and then I'll write down what's in the plot. So I've got Nicola potatoes, and then I've got some kale, then I have Nicola potatoes again, Dutch cream potatoes, then I've got coriander, kale, and so on and so forth. So I write them down from the north to the south, and then I know, you know, what's planted where when I come through in spring, summer, autumn. I know where everything is. And it has lived up to the 18 degrees, that is for sure. I'm wearing this linen scarf around me because there is a bit of a breeze, and I don't want to, you know, it's a bit hard at this time of the year because it can get quite cold quite fast, and you can feel warm as well, but I don't want to get a sore throat or anything like that. So I'm always very conscious of keeping something around my neck at this time of the year, especially when there's a slight breeze in the air as well. And it's quite interesting going around to the different parts of this garden and the different moisture levels and quality of soil that there is, even though I've done exactly the same thing in this bed to all of the rows. It just shows you that what you plant in an area and what it takes from the soil is just so different to, you know, another vegetable or another plant. So it's quite interesting, but I really do have to amend the soil a lot. I need to put more compost, more manure when we get it, and also lime and dolomite, and I'll have a think about what else, but I think I'm just going to start trying to be really religious with watering my plants with seaweed and fish emulsion as well. So I have been doing seaweed, but yeah, I'd like to start doing the fish as well. I really have to get this netting on. These dogs are gonna dig up my potatoes. Hello. No running on the garden. No running on the garden. Ooh. Okay. See you next time, friends. Oh, my goodness.